I'm an Irish writer. I've written 3 novels. I try to write imaginative fiction based on the stories that come to me from wherever my imagination leads me. My background is in music, and my art is very important to me. I had no ambition to be a writer. I didn't, even when I wrote my first book, I didn't think I'd be a writer. So my background was in music for a very long time, and I've always, even when I was a child, I would have always drawn pictures and written poems and different things, but I never thought I'd write a book, and it came out of nowhere. I gave up music because I wanted my headspace back, and then after a few years, my creativity came back, and I realized it's like your sense of humor. You can't decide whether you want to be creative or not. It's just part of who you are. So it came back, and I became a writer. So I'm grateful for it, but I don't have any demands of it. The book is about a mountain that appears suddenly and how it affects the lives of the people who live around it. And it came to me, I don't know when it really started. It seems like there are ideas that I've had in my head for 10 or 15 years that I never knew were related to a book, that just became relevant to me. I remember when my children were young and my day job was very busy and my life was very busy, and there's a small mountain near me, and every day I would see it and my life would be going through all these changes, and the mountain didn't seem to care. It didn't seem to change. And that was both very stabilizing for me, but also mysterious for me. And I've never forgotten that feeling. So that energy is in the book. And it really is about people who don't fully see themselves or know themselves, and how they project their lives into the world to try and see if they can understand themselves. My characters, I wonder sometimes, who are they? Sometimes I feel like they're past lives of mine, or I feel like they're restless ghosts who visit me to find peace, and I try and write about them, and then they go back to where they came from. Because they are marginalized, they're unobserved. So you can observe them in literature. They feel like they're good raw material because they're not usually observed. I tried writing this book in a style that I call heron writing, which, if you ever see a heron in a river, they wait and wait and wait and wait, and then strike really quickly to correct for the way the light bends in water. So I kind of try and wait, rather than going in and with all my big writing ideas, my habits. I wait till I get a glimpse of something, and then I try and get it really quickly before my writing ideas or my writing pretensions take over. So I'm really interested in, I suppose, things that have beauty but also a bit of ugliness, things that are crude. I like that human nature is human and also of nature. So the book, there's a lot of death in the book, but one of the central ideas is that everything in nature dies, but nature never dies. That is a theme that runs through my books. I think, my own father died when I was 7. All my books actually have young men who lose, parents. I suppose a lot of it was written during the pandemic, and it was also written when my mother-in-law died and other people in my family died. And rather than just writing about grief in a conventional way, I wanted to sort of think about absence. A lot of writing involves cause and effect. It's almost like an American sort of psychotherapy approach, where something bad happened and then the person is like this, as if it's purely cause, like an equation. But actually, I think many of the things that drive us are hidden from us, and absence is something you can never prepare for. You can never prepare for absence, so you can only process it in whatever way it takes over your life. So I wanted to write about that, but again, writing about it as something that's a natural process, and you have cycles. Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I will probably write more about them, which I've never done before, go back to revisit characters. But they feel very, I think Ursula in particular feels very strong. I think about Ursula a lot. Sometimes when you finish work on a book, it feels like the characters are put to rest, but it feels with these ones they're just waking up. I'm really delighted about it, because I always say the thing I'm most proud of in my writing life is being translated. The books on my shelves are overwhelmingly translated fiction. It's the greatest attention you can give to a writer is to read it with the care of a translator. So it means a lot to me, and I've never been published in France before, and such a deep literary tradition, not just in France itself, but in the French language. So I'm really interested to see, how the book is received, and I feel really, really honored and really proud about it.